The movie opens with a boy named Jordy talking about his life in his new town. He recently moved to California after living all over the world with his mothers, Melissa and Tia. Jordy is a cute 16-year-old boy with golden blonde hair and blue eyes. He's shy and awkward, but he's very kind and easygoing. He's excited about his new life in school, ready to meet his classmates and make friends, especially his new crush, the girl whose house is across from him. She's pretty with short, wavy hair the color of leaves during fall, and bright eyes. She uses an oxygen tank and she's always reading something in her bedroom. Jordy's favorite hobby is staring at her. It's Jordy's first day at school and he's nervous, but not in a bad way. Despite not being a social butterfly, Jordy is open to meeting new people and forming new friendships. His mothers are excited for him because the school he's attending has a good program. When Jordy arrives at school, he tries waving at people but no one cares about him. People are lost in their own world and don't care that there's a new student at school. It's nothing like Jordy expected, and it makes him more nervous. While searching for his locker, he sees a group of 3 boys writing gay on one of the lockers as if it's an insult. Being raised with 2 moms made Jordy a person who doesn't accept prejudice, and he can't stop himself from confronting the boys. The leader is a tall boy called Zeke, and he's the worst of all. When Jordy tries to make them think about their actions, Zeke slaps his books and they fall on the floor. Jordy feels bad that he was attacked like that and starts wiping the slur from the locker. He hears a voice thanking him and realizes there's someone inside the locker. It's another boy called Finn. Finn calls himself a lone wolf, and he is as awkward as Jordy when interacting with people. They have an instant friendship, and Finn decides to show Jordy around the school. He quickly learns that there are groups formed and it will be difficult for him to join one. Finn has a crush on a pretty girl and he points her out to Jordy, wondering if he already dated someone. Jordy says he didn't, but there's a girl he likes. He doesn't know her name or if she goes to school with them, so Finn can't help him find her. He explains to Finn that he's nervous about approaching the girl, but Finn suggests that he finds the courage to at least say hi to her. When Jordy reaches his locker, there's a note inside that says someone liked him, with a drawing of an alien next to it. Jordy finds it strange that someone finds him interesting after only a few minutes in the school. He has no idea who it could be, but he doesn't care much. His mind is too busy thinking about the girl of his dreams, Aka, his mystery neighbor. The first day at school goes well enough. While at home, staring at the girl in her house again, Jordy decides to follow Finn's advice and goes to her house. He's nervous and anxious. When he reaches her house, he quickly turns around and returns home. There, he changes clothes and picks up some flowers to give to the girl. He leaves the flowers in front of the door and rings the bell, running back to his house to watch her reaction. Sadly for him, it's not the girl who answers the door, it's her mother. The woman is confused that someone rang the bell and left flowers, but there's no one there. Disappointed, Jordy decides to try again another day. The next morning, his mother Tia asks him to go to the neighbor's house to see if they have avocados. Jordy readily accepts and gets ready in the bathroom before going there. This time, instead of only ringing the bell and running, he waits for someone to answer. It's the same woman from the day before. She's an older version of the girl he likes, and their hair is very similar. Her name's Willow. She invites him in, and while she's grabbing the avocado, he bites the bullet and asks if she has kids. The woman starts crying out of nowhere and Jordy silently freaks out. He makes her some tea to help calm her down, and she finally explains that she had a daughter named Max, but she passed away the year before. Jordy is stone cold, not knowing what to think about that piece of information. He was sure he saw the woman's daughter plenty of times in her bedroom. After the tea, Jordy leaves, but not before hearing a loud sound from the house's second floor. At school, Jordy starts asking the other students if they knew the girl who passed away. One girl says she remembered her, and that there's a memorial for her. Jordy quickly searches for the memorial, and when he sees her picture, he can't believe his eyes. It's the exact girl he has been crushing on since he moved in. There are letters and notes for her, and she seemed to be a popular girl with many friends. He's in a daze when he returns home. He starts searching for her on the internet and finds a blog where she started to talk about her disease. There are even videos of her. Everything she says in the videos makes him fall for her even harder. She's a very brave girl, and she seems wise beyond her years. Max talks a lot about accepting her fate and how to enjoy life when she knows she has a difficult disease. It's inspirational and Jordy loves it. He looks out her window to see if he can catch her, but she's not there. It's only the next day that he sees her again, and this time she sees him too. Jordy starts freaking out, and when he looks back, she's not there anymore. His doorbell rings, but no one was there. His mother hands him a note that she found addressed to him, and it says that Max wants to meet him after school. He waits anxiously for the time to meet Max, and as soon as school is over, he runs home to meet her. He goes to her house, and this time she opens the door. They introduce themselves, and Max explains that she passed away, and he's the only one who can see her. She's happy to have someone to talk to after so long. In turn, Jordy replies she's his first ghost. They go to his house to talk in privacy, and he has to find an excuse for his mother. She can't see Max standing behind him, smiling at his interaction with her. Jordy is as nervous as he would be on a first date. He tries to clean his room quickly so she doesn't notice the mess, but Max only cares about his pictures. She's in awe that he traveled all over the world. Max explains that, though he lived in different countries, he was never the adventurous kind. He preferred staying at home reading than going out and meeting new people. Max also finds his love note and points out that it's obvious someone is interested in him. Jordy isn't very comfortable with the prospect because he likes her. He doesn't care if she's a ghost. She's for sure the love of his life, which is ironic considering he can't be hers. While they are talking, Max starts coughing. She passed away from a disease that prevented her lungs from functioning well, and it followed her in the afterlife. She tells Jordy that she needs to leave, and Jordy tells her that she can come over whenever she wants. He's really happy that he met her, and the fact she's a ghost is in the back of his mind. The next day at school, he happily tells Finn that he finally made contact with the girl he liked. Finn is happy for him, and he also has a new crush. He's always pointing out girls that he likes, and it's a different one every time Jordy talks to him. His bullies appear again and mess with him, but Jordy is so over the moon that he doesn't care. When he's at home again, his mother informs him that their neighbors, Max's parents, invited them over for dinner. It's Jordy's shot at seeing Max again, and he excitedly gets ready. Max is already there with her parents when they arrive. Her parents are nice, but there's a constant dark cloud hovering over them. They miss Max a lot, and still couldn't move on from her passing away. Jordy doesn't mention that to his mothers, too distracted with Max to remember. At first, dinner is great, albeit a bit awkward. Jordy's mothers are a bit too progressive to Max's parents, and some things they say are strange to them. Jordy is also acting weird, but only because Max is sitting right next to him, talking. He has to answer her and it looks like he's talking to himself. After some time, his mothers ask Max's parents if they have any kids, and the mood gets somber. Willow says that they had a daughter, but she passed away. She's very sad as she remembers her beloved daughter, and Max is upset to see her parents so depressed and down. Jordy notices her sadness and wonders what happened. Max explains that before she passed, she made her parents promise that they weren't going to be sad. She feels as if they broke their promise to her. She starts coughing again and her mother surprisingly says bless you, even though she can't see Max like Jordy does. Back at home, his mothers wonder why he was acting so weird during dinner, and he explains that he didn't want them to mention Max. When he's in his room, he looks outside the window and sees Max there, holding a sign asking him to meet her after school again. He agrees. Jordy decides to search for ghosts and spirits. He starts by watching horror movies and finds out that ghosts don't move on because they are stuck for some reason, whether it be unfinished business or an unwillingness to go. He searches the internet and finds a medium whose expertise are spirits lingering. He calls her and tells her the situation. The woman explains that Max probably has unfinished business and she needs closure to move on to the light. She suggests Jordy helps her to achieve it. Spirits need to go to the right place, otherwise, they get sad and lonely. Jordy makes a list of things to help Max with, even though he doesn't want her to leave. The following day, Max goes with Jordy to school. She tells him that she misses the classes and being with her friends. The teacher sees Jordy talking to himself and not paying attention to class and asks him to solve a math problem on the board. Jordy has no idea how to do it, but Max helps him out. During the break, she points out who used to be her friends, her crush, and even her bullies. Jordy tells her that he only has one friend, Finn, and that he's scared of talking to the other kids. Since he traveled a lot with his mothers, he has difficulties building relationships and he's introverted. Max is the opposite. She is outgoing, fun, and loves talking to other people. She had many friends at school, and it showed in her memorial. When she sees it, she gets emotional because people remembered her. Zeke and his friends appear and start making fun of Jordy. He's always alone and talking to himself, which is weird for the other students who have no idea he's seeing a ghost. Zeke makes fun of Max and Jordy defends without thinking twice. He doesn't think it's nice to poke at people's pain only to feel better about themselves. What Jordy doesn't know is that Zeke has a troubled life at home and he has a secret. If people found out his secret, he would be ostracized and his parents would hurt him. That's why he enjoys hurting people, especially Jordy. He sees Jordy as a person who has no issues in life. He has a good family, and he doesn't care about what other people say of him. Zeke wishes he could be like that. Since he can't, he takes his anger out on Jordy, punching him in the face. Max helps a bleeding George, thanking him for being so brave. Jordy isn't upset about Zeke. He's happy that he stood up for himself and didn't lower his head to Zeke. He's even happier that Max was there to witness his courage. When they return home, Jordy goes to Max's house to take her dog on a walk. They go around town getting to know each other and having fun. Jordy wonders why he's the only one who can see Max, and she explains that ghosts are everywhere. People usually don't believe in them, so not everyone can see them. She shares her experience as a ghost, and how strange it is to watch people move on while she's stuck. It's lonely and sad, especially because she has to witness her parents' grief. She isn't angry that she passed away. Deep down, she knew that was going to happen to her, and she was ready to go. Jordy is in awe at how calm and nonchalant Max is. He thinks she's very wise, brave, and honest with her feelings, even when she was alive. Max explains that she always wanted to help people that were going through the same as her, to not lose hope or feel depressed. The only thing she wanted was to have more time to complete her life list. She tells Jordy that she and her mother wrote a list of things she wanted to do before she passed, but she never got the chance because she was too sick. Jordy decides to help Max to fulfill her dreams and wishes, no matter what. Maybe that way, she will be able to follow the light. The only issue is that her list is full of things that Jordy isn't comfortable doing. The first item is to go skateboarding. Jordy helps Max skateboard and she has lots of fun. Next, it's go hiking in the woods surrounding their town. For that one, he has to lie to her mothers and say that he's going out with Finn to borrow their car. Her mothers notice that he's acting weird ever since they moved, but they let him go. Jordy never had many friends and it's good to see him interacting with other kids his age. On the way, Max and Jordy have fun talking and listening to music. Jordy can't stop smiling when he looks at her. She's so pretty and full of life that he often forgets that she isn't alive. Whenever he remembers that she has to go, he gets sad because he doesn't want to. He's still trying to find a way for her to stay with him and be happy. They go to a park and Max is amazed by the beauty of the place. She takes off her nasal cannula so she can breathe the fresh air. She doesn't feel her lungs hurting anymore, and she doesn't cough when she breathes deeply. Max tells Jordy that she wants to reincarnate as a tree one day. Their life is peaceful and they have the best lungs in nature, exactly what she wanted to have. Jordy replies that if that's the case, he wants to be born as one too so that they can be next to each other for a long time. They sit next to a tree and Jordy takes a picture of them. Max doesn't appear in the picture, there's only a white glob in her place. Meanwhile, Jordy's mothers are worried about them because Melissa met Finn and his mother at the supermarket, and Jordy wasn't with them. They noticed he was acting weird, talking to himself, and being skittish. When he arrives home, he's alone in the car, but he opens the passenger's side door as if there is someone with him. They decide to talk to him to figure out what's going on. They think he has a girlfriend or boyfriend that he's hiding, and there's no need for that. They want him to be happy no matter what, and to protect himself if he's being intimate with someone. Jordy promises them that he's perfectly fine and quickly leaves for his room. Later on, he's reading a sad book and crying when Max enters his room. He immediately gets nervous. She's the girl he likes and she's in his room again, at night. Max sits next to him and starts reading the book with him, sitting so close to him that they are touching. After reading the book, they decide to play cards and ask each other questions. Jordy talks about his life before meeting Max. He was always scared and introspective, not willing to get too close to anyone. He never even enjoyed his time traveling because of his fear. Max wishes she had the opportunity to travel like him. Jordy asks if she would stay there if she could, and Max denies it. She knows that at some point she has to cross. Despite her smiles and how easygoing she isn't happy living a half-like. She can see life happening around her, but can't be part of it. It's lonely and depressing. She wants to go to the next step after she finishes what she has to. Jordy wants her to stay, and he promises to figure out a way for her to be happy like that. He doesn't understand that she doesn't belong there anymore. Max wants him to be prepared when she finally leaves, otherwise, he's going to be sad and depressed like her parents. That's the last thing she wants. They accidentally touch hands and Jordy feels a cold chill on his body. It's just a reminder that Max isn't supposed to be there, much less touching him. Jordy wants to advance things between them. He asks Finn for advice, not knowing that Finn has zero experience with dating or kissing anyone. He suggests Jordy makes his intentions clear to the girl he likes. It's easier said than done. Jordy is too nervous to confess his feelings to Max, especially when he knows they can't have an ordinary relationship. Still, he's willing to try. After the gym, Jordy is in the locker rooms changing when Zeke appears. He bullies Jordy a bit before grabbing his things in his locker. He takes an open notebook and Jordy notices that inside there's a drawing of an alien, very similar to the one drawn on the love note he received on his first day. At first, he thinks Zeke did it to play with him, but then he realizes that Zeke was serious. The bully gets angry and threatens Jordy. He tries to pretend it wasn't him and that he would never be interested in another boy, but his actions contradict him. He almost kisses Jordy, but he dodges him. Zeke gets angry again and in a choked voice, he demands Jordy never tells anyone what happened between them. It's strange, but Jordy finally understands that Zeke is taking his anger and pain out on people. He's an easy target because Zeke is attracted to him. Feeling nervous, Jordy goes to Max's house. The door is open, so he enters and sees Max's father crying while staring at her picture. When the man notices him, Jordy tries to come up with an excuse while he waits for Max to appear. When she does, he quickly leaves the house. It's Max's birthday and Jordy gives her a bracelet from one of his trips as a gift. Max is really happy about the gift and calls Jordy her best friend. It's not exactly what he wanted, but he accepts the title. It's time for them to do the third item on her life list, going to a karaoke. The place is filled with people and Jordy is embarrassed. Max insists he tries. He starts off awkward and shy, but with her encouragement, he starts loosening up and having fun. He sings and dances with Max, looking at her all the time, which is strange because no one can see her. When they return home, they are in good spirits. Max says goodbye to Jordy and goes home. There, she finds her mother crying in her bedroom. Max feels sad that her mother is still suffering so much, and lies down next to her. Willow seems to feel when Max hugs her because she cries even harder. The next day, Jordy freaks out to Finn about the bracelet and the fact that he was friend-zoned. Finn suggests he makes a surprise to her to make her see that he likes her more than a friend, and Jordy has a great idea. One of the items on Max's life list is to travel around the world, but now she can't. Jordy decides to print pictures of several places around the world and glue it to his walls. When Max appears, later on, she sees his bedroom's walls filled with pictures. Jordy narrates a trip they would have around the world and she finds it cute. She can't believe he did all that for her. After the tour, Max decides to sleep with Jordy and he's nervous to have a girl with him. They don't do anything inappropriate, only sleep. That's enough to make Jordy the happiest boy on earth. He wakes up with her lying down on his chest, and his heart almost bursts free. He grins as he watches her sleep and pretends to be asleep when she wakes so he doesn't look like a creep staring at her. He forgets that he resides with his mother's, and when Tia appears suddenly in his bedroom, his soul leaves his body. He thinks she's going to see Max there, but she doesn't. Tia finds his behavior strange, but he's a teenager so it's normal. When she asks about the pictures in his room, he lies and says it's a school project. When he goes down to have breakfast, his mothers question him again. They heard him talking to someone and thought someone was there with him. They start talking about intimacy and protection, which makes Jordy very uncomfortable, and as soon as he can, he runs back to his room. At school, Zeke nervously approaches him to ask if he told anyone about his secret. Jordy denies it. He would never gossip about something so serious as someone's identity. He was taught to respect everyone no matter what. Zeke realizes that Jordy is a nice person and he would never make fun of him. He starts crying and explaining that if he told people about his identity, he would lose his friends and his parents would hurt him. Jordy feels for him and comforts him. He tells Zeke to hang on and be strong because soon he would be an adult to do whatever he wants. He also offers Zeke his friendship and hugs the lost boy while he cries. Later on, Finn excitedly tells Jordy that there's a party for him to go to and it's the perfect opportunity for Jordy to take Max. It's Jordy's first time at a party too and he's nervous. So far, no one tried to make friends with him, except Finn. He meets Zeke there and nods at him in acknowledgement while Zeke smiles. The party is filled with teens in groups talking, so Jordy stays with Max the whole time. No one notices him talking to himself. Finn is also having fun and even kisses a random girl. Max is happy that she went to her first party, but it wasn't such a great affair as she imagined. They stay there for some time and then leave. After the party, their next item on the list is horse riding. Jordy takes Max and while riding, she asks for another favor from him, this time related to her parents. When they go back to her house, Jordy asks to talk to Willow and Sam about Max. Her parents are confused but listen to him. He says that he can see Max. To prove it to them, Max tells him what her parents said when she passed away. They were still at the hospital and Willow said that she would rather not have a child than go through the pain of losing one. Willow and Sam start crying because there's no way Jordy would have known it. Seeing that they believe him, Jordy tells them that Max is fine and that she wants them to fulfill their promise to her. To have a happy life, full of adventure and love. She doesn't want them to be depressed and sad anymore. Willow apologizes to Max and says that being a mother was the best thing that ever happened to her. Jordy says that Max isn't mad at them, she's great, not using the nose cannula anymore, and ready to move on. She also wants them to spread her ashes in the ocean and not to worry, their memories would always stay with them. Her parents finally get closure and hug each other. Max hugs them too and Willow can feel her. Sam asks Jordy to come to hug them too. Now that she got closure with her parents, Max is ready to go. She asks Jordy to meet her again after school. This time, there's nothing special that she wants to do. Jordy is fine with it and they go to the beach to watch the sunset together. There, Max tells Jordy that she feels she's ready to go into the light. Jordy pleads with her not to go, but she can't stay. It's not her place anymore. He says they can add more to the list and do anything she wants. He's desperate. Max carefully tells him that she's happy with the way things are. Jordy confesses his feelings and says he loves her. It was her that made him see another side to life and do things that he never dared to do. Max starts crying and says that she doesn't want to have any last words, but a last gesture. She kisses him softly on the lips before she goes on her last journey. When Jordy opens his eyes, he's alone for the first time in days. His only company is the calm ocean and the sunset. Jordy cries and says goodbye to Max. He finds a piece of paper she left behind written that her last wish in her life list was to fall in love. Jordy helped her through every step, not thinking about the emptiness she would leave behind. Still, he doesn't regret missing her. If it wasn't for Max, his life would be boring and he wouldn't leave his comfort zone, make friends and even go to a party. Max's parents also start moving on, and their first step is to throw her ashes in the ocean. In the end, Jordy found new friends. Zeke and Finn started dating, and everything ended well. He's happy, but he's never going to forget his first love.